What is up, everybody? This is, it used to be VGM Dude. Now I go by the moniker Silent Jive. Is that what they call it? They call it a moniker? That's my alias. That's my profile name or whatever. Silent Jive is the new name. And look, I know people miss VGM Dude. They want to see a guy talk about Shenmue 3 and, talk about video games and my love for video games. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I've given up the video games. I've put the video games away, okay? I don't know if I showed you guys that video with that priest. Well, he wasn't a priest. He's a preacher. He was talking about video games. He's like, I don't want to see anybody in here playing video games. I thought that was funny. I don't agree with him. I think video games are okay, folks. Absolutely nothing wrong with video games. But what worries me, and it's the same with alcohol and weed and all these drugs and stuff, the abuse, video game abuse, it's real. You're hearing from and I'm admitting this for the first time publicly, video game addict. I was addicted to video games. I couldn't live without them. And recently, it wasn't until this year, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I figured out a way to be happy with myself and not be dependent on playing video games or watching movies, or you know what I mean? And it's something, since I was a kid, I always had felt that way. It was like, I need these video games, It was like I was talking to my little brother earlier, and don't worry, none of this is scripted, so I may ramble on for a bit, but this is just kind of an update video and just where it's none of my comedy shit. I know you guys probably hate the comedy. I know it sucks. Give me about a year. I may be a little funny. But growing up as a kid, and I was talking to my little brother about this earlier, it's like, dude, I didn't give a fuck when I was in school. I gave no fucks. I'm not interested in math. I'm not interested in history. I'm not interested in English. All I was thinking about when I was in school was getting home and playing video games. All I ever gave a fuck about. And it's crazy looking back on it. I was addicted. It was like I was hypnotized. All I cared about was video games. And it's the reason I didn't make any friends in school. I never met anybody I could get along with because I wasn't trying to get along with people. All I cared about was leaving and playing video games. Now, there were a few people that also, that's all they cared about. All they cared about was video games. It was like, man. But looking back on it, and I'm glad I finally snapped out of that. It's like I was in a fucking trance by video games. And anime and all the other stuff. It's like, fuck. If I didn't buy video games, I wasn't happy. I'm being honest, folks. I'm at a point in my life now, I'm 28 years old. And, I asked myself, I said, wait, why is your happiness dependent on video games? Why can't you be happy without all this stuff? And I wish I could pinpoint what it was that changed my mind. It was just everything going on around me. I snapped out of it one day and I decided I wanted to be a comedian. I decided I wanted to do comedy. And you guys got to understand, I may not even be a comedian. Comedy may not be for me. I know that I suck right now. But like I said, at least give it a year. I think we should give it a fair shake before we write it off and say, okay, comedy's not for me. It's a way of expressing myself. Kind of like how I did with music. But even with my music, it was all video game stuff because I was so tied up in these videos. And don't get me wrong. I still love video games. I just have to cut myself off because it's like an alcoholic. You don't see an alcoholic saying, okay, I'll have a few beers, but no, man, you have to cut off cold turkey or you'll get sucked back in. It's really, video games can be a good thing. They got me through a lot of rough times, but for me, they served their purpose and I'm done with them. I'm sure you guys have heard, I gave away my PS5. I gave away all the games, the controllers, everything. I was like, hey, I don't need it. And I'm at a point in my life where it's like, I feel like I don't need anything. And it's not a dark, depressing thing. My family seems to think I'm depressed. They're like, oh man, wow, you just don't want anything. I'm just not greedy, okay? I feel like what I have now is enough. And if someone asks me for anything, I don't care what it is. If it's in my power to give it to them, I'll give it to them. You know? If it's something that I don't need, because you got to understand, we don't need any of this shit. You can have it. You know, that's why I had no problem giving away a PS5. Stop thinking about how much money it costs. Money. Stop with the money stuff. Actually, that's what I'm telling myself. I don't give a fuck about that stuff. It's fine if you do. It's an acceptance thing. I accept everybody, you know, the good and the bad. You know, the people that decide murder is okay, I got no problem. They have they have the power to believe that murder is okay. I don't think it's cool. I don't support it. I don't like it. But we have no control over how people think. You can try your best to control how people think, but why would you want to? That's sick. I don't know. I don't agree with it. To me, I think it's sick. It's just like flirting with girls. I also think that's pretty sick. But I don't really know where I'm going with this. I just figured I would kind of update you guys and tell you a little bit about myself. I'm just coming back from comedy. I did some comedy just a minute ago. I didn't even have anything written. I figured it would be good to roast the audience. Man, I wish I had it recorded because it was pretty funny to me. I mean, you guys might hate it. But I decided I would roast the audience. And I can't even tell you how it went. Because humor is subjective, right? I may think I'm the funniest guy in the world. I might actually be the funniest guy in the world. But everybody in the world isn't going to think you're funny. And I think that's what a lot of comedians have to understand. Humor is subjective. No matter how funny you think you are, there's always going to be somebody out there that says, you fucking suck ass, okay? Haven't laughed at a single thing you said. You're the worst comedian I've ever, you know? And there's nothing wrong with them thinking that. You know, why are we always trying to prove someone, hey, no, I am funny? That's what I think. I don't know. That's my take. I don't want to get too rambly, though. I noticed that now when I talk, I get a little rambly and I complain. But honestly, I'm okay with the world. I'm okay with the state of the world. I'm okay with everything. I accept everything. I'm one of the only guys you can shoot with a gun. You know, someone can come up and shoot me with a gun. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. I'm not going to go chasing a guy down and asking why he shot me. Hey, this isn't cool. There's nothing wrong with you shooting me, okay? You have the power to do these things. People have the power to do some really fucked up and evil things, right? You can't blame them for, you don't, everybody has the freedom to think whatever the fuck they want. No matter how sick it is to you or how fucking disgusting, it's like, you understand that people have the power to do fucked up stuff. So why is it the end of the world when they do to you? That's just a question I'm asking. Not saying there's anything wrong with the way you guys think, but it's just a question. Why is it the end of the world when a guy blows up a house or, blows up it's like, we don't agree with those things. They're not cool to do, right? But you can understand that people have the power to, we all have the power to do fucked up stuff, and we don't have to have a reason. We can do it for fun, maybe this is something we get a thrill out of doing. You just got to move forward, you got to get over those things. And that's really what it is. I'll tell you guys, when I decided I was going to roast the audience, there were some guys in the audience that, some hood guys, some guys from the hood. They did not like that. They did not think that was funny. I think they may have taken it as disrespect, right? But it's funny because one of the guys, as soon as he walked in, he's like, oh, what the fuck? You know, he didn't even know me, right? He just walked in the door. He's like, he's like, oh man, this guy with his, man, hey, this motherfucker that came up in here with this fucking mustache, man. He got the fucking Hawaiian shirt. Who brought, it was like, who brought him here, man? What the fuck? I was like, you know, that's cool. I mean, there's nothing wrong with someone making fun of you or laughing at you because of the way you look. You know, so, but I think back to the old me, how the old me would have reacted. I'd have been like, hey, yo, that's not cool, man. You can't laugh at somebody because of the way they look. You know, that's not fucking cool, man. And I'm just happy that I'm at a spot where, like, there's nothing you could do to me that would piss me off. Like, I don't get mad about anything. You know, I accept everything. Like I said, the good and the bad, you know? It's like when people talk about positivity, and it's like, I only want to talk to people that support me. Why? What about the people that think you're shit? Why can't you hang with those guys? Yeah, I don't want to hang around people who think I suck ass, you know? Why the fuck not? Y'all can't still get along and they just have a different opinion than you have? And I know that's a lot of the stuff that I do when I get on stage. And I do, well, when I first started doing comedy, that's all I did. I would just get on stage and say my opinion on how I felt about the world and everybody's attitudes and stuff. It's like, man, I don't know how long this is going to go for, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. The respect thing. Is anybody else with me on the respect thing? How it's a form of entitlement. Okay, I'll treat everybody nice. If they treat me like shit, I guess I gotta beat them up until they treat me nice. That's the way I was raised. I was raised that way. I was raised and taught if somebody treats you like shit, you gotta beat their ass until they start treating you with respect. You beat them up and then they'll get it. You punch them in the face and then it starts to make sense and they will respect you. Why do you need people to respect you? For what? Why? Huh? Or else, are you less of a man because nobody's respecting you? Like, I never understood this. And I actually talked to I have an uncle who, since I was a kid, he always he told us about respect and how respect is the most important thing. And, you know, growing up, we didn't know any better. My father had left when we were younger. So all we really had to look up to was our older brother and our uncle. And he talks about respect and how don't let anybody disrespect you, you know, fuck them up and this stuff. And me being dumb and not knowing any better, I was like, okay, uncle, yeah, I'll listen to you. Okay, older brother, yeah. And so I would go to school and I'd get into fights every day. You know, somebody would call me a bitch. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I got to fight. And I'm not a good fighter, so I lost almost every fight I got into. And the thing is, I don't like to fight. I don't like to hurt people. Why would you want to hurt people? For what? You know, I always felt that. That's why I'm not a good fighter, because I don't like hurting people. Why would I? It's sick. I think it's sick. I always thought it was sick. No fighting, you know? But yeah, he was obsessed with this respect thing, and I didn't know any better, so I listened to him. And I grew up thinking respect was what it was about, and and I'm not saying walk around treating people like shit. No, it's as simple as walk around treating people how you would like to be treated, regardless of how they treat you. You know, just because someone treats me like shit doesn't mean I'm going to start treating them like shit. Why would I start treating anybody like shit? Why? For what? You know? Nobody deserves that. That's what I think. That's the way I think. But you guys know that. So it's like, I don't know if it's a respect thing or is it an ego thing? Where it's like, I got to be a man. You hear people say, stand up for yourself, fight for yourself. For what? Why? Why can't you take a beating? Why can't someone beat you up? It's not like you're going to die. And it's like I say in my comedy thing, so what if you do, okay? You were going to die anyway. We're all going to die someday. It makes no difference to me if it's today or tomorrow, you know?